Hope you're having a terrific Thursday, second grade. As I promised yesterday, I thought I would read A Walk on a Snowy Night. So our theme for the last couple of days has been night. Yesterday we read about how night came from the sea. Now we're going to talk about walking on a snowy night. This is by Judy Delton with pictures by Ruth Rosner. For my dad, who always walked with me, is by Judy Delton. This is a dedication. Yesterday, it snowed all day long. The snow covered the bird feeder, and it looked like frosting on the garage roof. In the evening, it was still snowing. After supper, just when I was going to do my homework at the dining room table, my dad said, "Do you want to go for a walk?" "In the dark?" I said. My dad nodded. "It's still snowing," I said. "The radio has storm warnings." "I know," he said. I went upstairs and got my snow pants on and my jacket, and I put my hood on, and I tied Grandma's wool scarf around my neck. I went to the basement for my boots and mittens. "I'm ready," I said. My dad had his black rubber boots on with the buckles and the coat he wears to go ice fishing. He had on a yellow cap that Grandma knitted on his head. "Let's go," he said. When we opened the back door, a big drift of powdery snow blew in. When we went down the steps, the snow came up almost to the top of my boots. "Are you sure we should go out?" I asked. My dad nodded. I felt goosebumps on my arms, and I shivered, but it wasn't because of the cold. We crossed the backyard and came to a sidewalk. I knew it was the sidewalk because of the fence alongside it. "Hold on to my arm," said my dad, putting out his elbow. I slipped my arm through his and put my hand in his pocket. We walked along, shuffling our feet through the snow, making long, thin tracks. When I looked back, new snow was already beginning to fill them up. We came to the corner, and my father stopped. "Look," he said. I looked up where he pointed and saw the snow all lit up in a bright arc under the streetlight. It sparkled and shone like my mother's crystal necklace. On and on it came, tumbling down crystal. It sparkled even when it lay in a heap on the ground. We crossed the street, and the only sound we could hear was crunch, crunch, shuffle, shuffle of our feet. "It's so quiet," I said. I stopped and held my breath. There wasn't one sound when we didn't move our feet. "I was here today on the way to school," I said, "but it felt different then." "It was a different place this afternoon," said my father, "in the daylight." We kept walking, and my daddy and I, at every corner we stopped and looked up at the crystals of snow sparkling under the streetlights. "What's that noise?" I said, stopping to listen. My father stopped to listen, too. It was a soft, hollow sound, like a wooden spoon. "Snow shovel," he said. "A snow shovel is different," I said. "A snow shovel scrapes and scratches." "Not at night," said my father. We came to the snow shoveler. The man tipped his hat and waved as we went on by. Soon as he cleared a ribbon of sidewalk, the flakes covered it over behind him. Quiet, quiet, like a movie on TV with the sound off. We stopped at the street to let a car crawl on by. Then we slipped in the tire tracks. First by accident, then on purpose. We could fall, I said, sliding along with the wind in my face. We could, said my father, sliding behind me. You'll fall first, and then I won't get hurt, he called. I turned around to look at him. He was smiling. Dad might be playing a little joke, huh? But I put my arm through his again, and we walked by a big building. It looked like an old man with stooped shoulders and white hair. There's your school, my dad said. Only in the daytime, I said. Sometimes you can imagine things at night. Some of the houses didn't have their blinds closed, and we could see inside. The lights in the windows looked like Christmas card houses, I said. We stopped to watch a family, warm and cozy by their fire. A few doors down, a man opened his door to let his dog out. The dog looked at the mounds of snow, put one foot into it, and turned back around and went back in. Even the dogs don't go out tonight, said my father. In a little while, my father stopped. Here, he said, we'll stop here. He stepped inside a doorway and stamped his feet. I did the same thing. He pulled open a door, and light came out and fell on us, standing white as two snowmen. We shook our arms and legs and brushed our heads and shoulders and went inside and sat down at the small table. How about some hot chocolate with marshmallows, said my dad. That would be good, I said. A man with a white apron came over to see us. Hi, Al, he said. I see you've got your daughter along tonight. No, this isn't my daughter, said my dad. I looked at him, and he was smiling. You can't fool me, Al. She's the picture of her old man. When he left, I said, What did he mean? My dad laughed. He means you look just like me, he said. Do I? Spitting image, said my dad. The man brought coffee and hot chocolate with marshmallows. We warmed our hands around the cups and let the steam melt the snow on our eyebrows. We emptied the cups and buttoned up our coats, then said goodbye. Looks like you'll be the only customers tonight, said the man. With all this snow, I may as well close up early. I put my arm through my dad's, and we started walking towards home. I walked slowly so it would last longer. Are you tired? Said my dad. No, I said. A wind's coming up, said my dad. We may have a real blizzard by morning. My dad pointed to 3 large evergreen trees. The wind was loud enough for us to hear it now. As we watched, it swirled the snow round and round the trees. They look like sisters, I said, bowing to each other on their long skirts and shaking hands. My father stopped to look. So they do, he said. Are you sure they are sisters? They're the spitting image of each other, I said. We walked through the dark, stopping at every streetlight to look up. We're almost home, my father said. Just in time. It's getting colder. I am as warm as I can be, I said. We looked at our house with frosting on its roof. Then we walked up the steps and went in and closed the door on the snowy, sparkly night. All right. I like this book partly because it talks about how sometimes we see things differently at night than we do during the day. Sometimes we think it's kind of scary. Sometimes we're like, ooh. Other times we're like, oh, it just looks a little different. I never would have realized. But the whole point is, even if it looks different, it's not necessarily anything we have to be afraid of. So sometimes you've seen, like in TV shows or movies, a kid gets really scared because the branch outside its window looks like some kind of big claw coming or something, and there's a stormy night and there's rain and lightning, and it's just the tree. So snow can do that to us too. Sometimes we can. It changes shapes at night. It makes us think about this. But what's really nice is we can either choose to be like, ooh, that's spooky, or we can take a little bit more time, look it over, and figure out maybe it's kind of beautiful. Maybe it's something that is something we should appreciate, kind of like art. Well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday. I'll be back one more time this week, tomorrow, to read another book. And then we're going to have the weekend. We're going to have a 3-day weekend, and I probably won't be back till next Tuesday to start reading again. Hope everybody has a good weekend. Again, remember to get exercise. Try to watch your nutrition if you can. It's not always easy. Exercise safely if you can. Otherwise, stay happy, stay healthy, and I will see you again tomorrow, St. Charles.